Imagine being asked to honor NASCAR legends in front of thousands of fans, and then forgetting the one name everyone wanted to hear. That's exactly what just happened to Cletus McFarland, and the internet is not letting it slide. The YouTube star turned race car driver was picked to be the Grand Marshal at the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 over at Michigan International Speedway. For anyone who doesn't know, the Grand Marshal is the person who gets to say those famous words right before a race starts. It's a huge honor, and Cletus was the one chosen to do it last Saturday. Now, Michigan International Speedway is a big 2-mile oval, and the announcement that Cletus would be the Grand Marshal got a lot of attention right when it dropped. Some fans were excited, while others were already raising their eyebrows. Cletus has been getting more and more involved in the NASCAR world lately. He even got a surprise visit from Dale Earnhardt Jr. not too long ago. On top of being Grand Marshal, he was also racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race that same day. So this was supposed to be a big moment for him. When the time came, Cletus sat in his number 4 Chevrolet to give the command. He grabbed the mic and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I just have 3 things to say. Be like Biff, do it for Dale, and drivers, start your engines." At first, it sounded sweet. He was paying tribute to 2 NASCAR legends who passed away way too soon. But once fans had a second to think about it, they noticed something huge was missing. He never said a word about Kyle Busch, and that's where everything started going sideways. Let's break down what he actually did say first. The "Be Like Biff" line is a tribute to Greg Biffle. Back on the 18th of December, 2025, around 10:15 inches the morning, a small business jet that belonged to Biffle crashed and burst into flames at Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina. The crash took the lives of Greg, who was 55 years old, his wife Christina, and their 2 children Ryder and Emma. It also killed Dennis Dutton, his son Jack, and a man named Craig Wadsworth. The whole NASCAR community was shaken to its core. What makes this even more personal for Cletus is that Biffle and his family were actually flying down to Florida to visit him when the crash happened. After the tragedy, Cletus made a tribute video called "The One and Only Greg Biffle." From that day on, he started ending every single one of his videos with the phrase, "Be like Biff." So when he said that line at Michigan, it really meant something to him. Then there's the "Do It for Dale" part. That one is for Dale Earnhardt, one of the biggest names in NASCAR history. Dale passed away on the very last lap of the 2001 Daytona 500. Heading into the final turn, his number 3 Chevrolet Monte Carlo got bumped by Sterling Marlin. That bump sent him crashing into Kenny Schrader's car, and then he slammed into the wall, going about 160 miles per hour. An autopsy later showed that he died from something called a basilar skull fracture. That's a break at the base of the skull caused by stopping too fast and too hard. Cletus has been ending his videos with "Do It for Dale" for a long time, so this tribute also meant a lot to him personally. So both of those tributes made sense. But here's where the problem comes in. Kyle Busch passed away on the 21st of May, 2026. He was only 41 years old. He had been fighting pneumonia, and it turned into something called sepsis, which is a really serious infection that spreads through the body. Kyle was a 2-time Cup Series champion and one of the most well-known drivers of his generation. His nickname was Rowdy, and that name fit him perfectly. The Truck Series had already raced twice since losing Kyle. The field ran at Charlotte Motor Speedway on May 24th, and then again at Nashville Superspeedway on May 30th. So by the time Michigan rolled around, this was the 3rd Truck Series race without him. The first shock had worn off, but the pain was still very fresh. And fans were still watching closely to see how the sport would keep honoring him. Here's the part that really got under people's skin. Kyle Busch holds the all-time win record in the Truck Series. He won 69 truck races. 69. Nobody else even comes close. And Cletus was sitting in a truck in the Truck Series at a Truck Series race not long after Kyle's death, and he didn't say his name. Not once. Fans on social media absolutely lit up over it. One person on X wrote, "It sat with me wrong knowing he left Kyle Busch out." Another fan jumped in saying, "Felt the same way, awkward without a nod to Kyle." Especially in the Truck Series, read the room. That phrase, "read the room," kept popping up over and over. Then a third fan came in with a question a lot of people were asking. They wrote, Does Cleet have something against Kyle Busch? I can't recall him ever talking about him in his VODs, and obviously shafted him here. He's the winningest truck driver and you don't recognize him while you're sitting in a truck? Weird. That comment really hit because it pointed out the strange pattern. Cletus barely ever talks about Kyle, and now this happened. People didn't just complain either. A lot of them came up with lines they thought Cletus should have used. One fan suggested, "I like be like Biff, race like Rowdy, and do it for Dale." That one rolls off the tongue pretty nicely and would have covered all three legends in one go. Another fan thought he should have ended it differently and said, "Should have ended with, and let's get rowdy instead of start your engines." Both ideas would have honored Kyle without taking anything away from Greg or Dale. The whole situation feels even more painful when you look at what's been going on with Kyle's family. Kyle's widow recently shared a story about a promise she made to him in the hospital before he passed. His brother Kurt Busch finally broke his silence about losing Kyle, saying he's been trying to find a silver lining in all the pain. And Kyle's young son Brexton just shared his first post since losing his dad, and it broke a lot of hearts across the NASCAR community. So fans were already feeling raw and emotional about Kyle, and then to watch this moment happen on national TV, at a Truck Series race no less, and not hear his name come up at all, it stung. A lot of fans felt like it was a missed chance to do something really special. Cletus had the mic, he had the platform, and he had the perfect setup to honor all three drivers who NASCAR has lost. Now, to be fair, we don't actually know why Cletus left Kyle out of his command. Maybe he just stuck with the lines he's been using for a long time. Maybe in the moment, he didn't think about it. Maybe there's a personal reason fans don't know about. Cletus hasn't said anything publicly about the backlash yet, so the question is still hanging out there. But for a lot of fans, the silence on Kyle Busch felt loud. The man won 69 races in the Truck Series. He earned his place in history. And when the cameras were rolling and the engines were ready to fire up, his name didn't come up. Whether it was a genuine oversight or something more, the moment is now going viral for all the wrong reasons. And the NASCAR community is split. Some say Cletus should get a pass because he was honoring his close friend Greg Biffle and his hero Dale Earnhardt. Others say there's no excuse for skipping Kyle, especially in a Truck Series race. Either way, it's safe to say this is one grand marshal moment people are going to be talking about for a while.